The text is short, and it is only not simpler, because the being obscures it through inattention, allowing the entrance of a parallelism that appears more attractive. Seduction has its intelligence, and is not negligible. It is a teacher of a hidden subject, in which the principle of correspondence is inevitable. It is no coincidence that the text itself and also the parallel texts expose these concepts. It is not invisible, that clarity lies in the attention with which the being focuses on what it receives. There is nothing easier and clearer than identifying the things that lead the being safely and precisely, and identifying those that deceive and distance it. The concepts attributed, and the excuses the being gives itself to remain faithful to doubts, shames, fears, and prejudices, are innumerable. All relationships seek to sustain this behavior. The saying goes that, to drunks and fools the gods give their protection. This is not the madness of this treatise, as this drunkenness and insanity result from giving into trivialities and misunderstandings. The excuse for childishness and immaturity is common, which vulgarizes the sacredness of the natural protection for the pure and innocent. Positioning oneself without fear, without doubt, without prejudices, and without shame, brings the being like a heavily armed knight. For each step or rung, the correct weight and measure will be given. The squaring of the circle reveals itself to this knight, whose mastery in handling his weapons makes the journey easy and child's play. The knight will continue, will recognize the rules of polarity, and will obey them. There is a single rule where its divisions are infinite. The extremes are distant from each other, and what qualifies the knight is the movement on this rule. The safe path is always the middle path. The text is overly clear in the exposition of this matter. The rule is equally too obvious in the exposition of itself, making its comprehension quite easy, given its simplicity. From wanderer to knight, the being proceeds to victory over obstacles that are eliminated one by one, without, however, qualifying its victories. Each one can weigh them, according to the understanding of causes and effects, as maintainers of the walking being in the center of polarity. The path of the being that is sought, finds in its own path, the division of itself, into aspects that differ and complement each other. It is the same being, sometimes identified in one way, sometimes in another. It is not difficult for the being that embraces various forms of exposure to break. It is also not difficult to understand that an exposure contrary to the manifested nature of the being. The misunderstanding causes revolt in the manifested being that renounces what its nature imposed on it and, through the wrong path, acts in density, in order to seek the foolish correction of what it considers the error of nature. Various arguments that illusion presents to it corroborate this, to which the being bows and sinks into superficiality. The text does not condemn the paths that seem to be chosen, but guides in the secure positioning of attention, on the meaning of the principle of gender that nature shows. The being is complete in itself. The manifestation of the being is a perfect agreement of the being with itself. The integration or reintegration of the hermaphrodite is natural and, indeed, obvious.